There is so much to talk about with the Olympics right now, but we've seen 2 games of Canada and yeah, they look unreal. Connor McDavid could set the Canadian record for most points from an NHLer in a single Olympics, and he could do that in the next game he plays. If he manages to set the Canadian record in the group stage, yeah, that's a huge mark on his ridiculous career resume. That's insane. Don't quote me on this, but it's Gretzky-esque. Celebrini is also already so productive. He's never looked out of place at any level of hockey he's played. He's actually scored in his first ever USHL game, NCAA game, NHL game, and now first ever Olympic game. And the graphic is missing it, but he also scored in his first ever World Juniors game. This guy has not looked out of place at any level of hockey in his life. It's nuts. Early on in the Swiss game, Celebrini slid onto a line with MacKinnon and McDavid. And yeah, like, what do you think? Obviously, it dominated throughout the game. Sick thing about Canada is that when they stack the lines, put 3 top 5 NHL scorers on the same line, they also have ridiculous talent down the lineup. While they're skating, Crosby, Marner, Stone, Reinhart, they're all on the bench. McDavid, Celebrini, MacKinnon work so well because they're all some of the best rush players in the game, and they're all also some of the best in-zone players in the game. And they're also some of the smartest players in the game, and they're also some of the best shooters and playmakers and skaters and defensive players and leaders. They're all franchise players. They're basically all captains if you think about it, and they all play on the same line. It's insane. It might be the best line ever constructed. But that being said, the Swiss game was pretty close. It was a lot closer than I think people want to give it credit for because of the final score. It might also be overshadowed by the insanely tough injury to Fiala. I really hope he gets better. He's one of my favorite players in the show. I've seen some people say that coaches and GMs are going to be pissed about that. Yeah, I definitely agree, but I think the owners are still better off having the Olympics. It brings in so many new viewers. But scoring chances were super close throughout the game, and it felt pretty tight. I think that's a plus for Switzerland more than it's a detractor for Canada though. There's some serious talent on the Swiss team, and they 100% had the Canada group stage game circled since they found out what group they're in. Great work despite getting absolutely smashed. Crazy stat from Dmitry Filipovich's Patreon. You should check it out. He does excellent game breakdowns on the Olympics. Link is in the description. In the games against Switzerland and Czechia, Team France has allowed 10 goals, whereas Canada has only allowed 1 goal. This weekend they're playing, and I think it's going to be the most lopsided game of the tournament. I feel like they should probably toss Texier a penalty shot or something during intermission so he gets a little Instagram reel posted about him. I think it's only fair. I guess one last Canada thought though. McDavid is currently leading the Olympics in offensive zone puck battles, and he's dished out 2 massive hits already. This is a different beast. We've never seen this level of physicality from McDavid. It's probably being overshadowed from the fact that these games have a bit of a lopsided score, but I mean, as the tournament goes on, I don't want to speak too soon, but McDavid could end up having the best single Olympic performance of all time. Don't quote me on that. Book it. But as we get closer and closer to the gold medal game, Canada is going to have to play some ridiculously good teams, with the biggest of them being the United States of America. Now, quick note about America. I see a lot of people talking about the construction of the roster and some of the names they left off. I get it. Robertson and Caulfield are elite players. Lane Hudson is up there with some of the best defensemen in the league. But Bill Guerin and co built this team to play what I think is a pretty clear strategy. Their breakout passes are hard and they function almost as a chip-in. They want to stretch the ice vertically as much as possible so they can either get a rush chance or get to the puck first in the O-zone. They have Quinn Hughes, Zach Werenski, Jake Sanderson back there. So, I mean, they're going to be snapping it up and it probably will lead to some rush chances. But realistically, they want to get in on the forecheck first. They want to battle hard along the walls. They built a physical identity and they're playing puck to win the tournament. That's why they brought JT Miller. Like, you don't have to love him as a player, and like he looks like he gives up on plays sometimes, but he's probably one of the hardest players in the league to play against physically. Like, he's kind of like American Sam Bennett, except when he's rolling, he can be a 100-point scorer. At the Four Nations, Miller was one of the first guys to drop the gloves in that first America-Canada game. And in the Vancouver-Edmonton series back in 2024, JT Miller was an absolute dog cross-checking guys in the lower back. That's like you gotta have, like, you're a crazy guy. The reason they're building this style of a team and not trying to just copy the 2022 Avalanche is because in tight checking games, like the Olympic gold medal match, hypothetically, you just don't get as many rush chances. There's too much focus and prep from the best players in the world. Maybe you get a handful per game, but those are off a strong forecheck or a great defensive play or making the right read or a gamble. You don't get those from a flub. You could play the gold medal match 3 times in a row, and there's a chance that fourth liner Cole Caulfield wouldn't get a single solid rush opportunity. And then outside of the offense, you saw how guys like Jack Hughes weren't ready for the physicality at the Four Nations, while Kyle Connor got benched in a game where Matt Tkachuk was already injured. And mind you, we're already seeing Kyle Connor turn the puck over a couple times against Latvia at the offensive blue line. So yeah, to be fair, there's a lot of elite players left off of this roster, but like Bill Guerin said, they're building a team. The plan isn't just about stacking offensive pieces, it's about maximizing a game plan and getting everyone up to speed in the 2 weeks of hockey they get together. That being said, America is an elite team. At even strength, they're far and away the leader in the Olympics so far in passes to the slot per game. They played Latvia, who's not a super team by any means, but the one thing that you can absolutely give them credit for is playing a hard-nosed defensive game. They're super feisty and they force you to create. The fact that America dominated so hard here is a really, really good sign for them as a team. One player I love, Matthew Tkachuk, is such a smart player. I just love watching him play. His skating style is so hunched over, it looks so crazy, but he's so clearly dialed into every single play. All right, hold on here, but it's a bit crazy, and I know it's gonna sound crazy, but he reminds me of LeBron James a little bit. I don't know if I'd ever trust Matt Tkachuk or LeBron to do my taxes, but the way these guys understand the games they play is so far ahead of what anyone can kind of see in them. Matthew Tkachuk is one of, if not the slowest forward in hockey, and while battling through immense injury, you still find him getting to the puck first and finding open ice in the offensive zone. I don't get how he does it. He's so smart. If I had to give my player power ranking so far, I would say 1, Connor McDavid. He's a man possessed. He could win the MVP in a gold medal loss, to be honest. 2, Damian Clara. He's the Italian goalie who was one of the biggest stories in the world. He's been pulled from 2 games now. I hope the injuries can be put past him. 3, I'm going Juraj Slafkovsky. Picked up another point against Italy. He's a hero of Slovakia right now as they're 2-0-0. And Slav is second in the Olympics in win probability added. 4, I'm going to go with Rasmus Dahlin. He's looked unbelievable for Team Sweden, even though they lost to Finland 4-1. And then 5, I'm going to go Quinn Hughes. It's a bit of a funny shout, but I think he looks so good in the US game. I think he's going to rack up the points here. He is unbelievable. The Olympics is underway. Let me know what you think is going to happen next, boys. I got a good feeling about Latvia winning gold, but maybe that's just because I bet a lot of money on that happening. And yeah.
And Wilson and how they've kind of fit in seamlessly with you.
Unreal. Both of them were amazing. Mac was really impressive. Just kept so many plays alive. He's dangerous. He's a great player.
It's a bit of a different video today. I'm going to take my girl for Valentine's. Love you guys so much. Thanks for watching.